Regular Eveleth City Council meeting scheduled for 5 p.m. July 10th will now come to order. Roll call.
Councillor Koivunen.
Here.
Councillor Lillis.
Here.
Mayor Vysalovich.
Here.
Councillor Hogue.
Here. Approval of the minutes, City Council Workshop, May 3rd. Approval of minutes, City Council Workshop, May 22nd. And approval of minutes, City Council meeting, June 5th. Nobody has any questions or changes? Call for a motion that we approve these minutes.
So moved.
Motion made by Lillis, do you have support?
I'll support.
Support by Hogue, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carried. Item D, approval of tonight's agenda, and with the deletion of J5. Anybody else have any changes? If not, call for a motion that we approve tonight's agenda as it's printed with that one change. So, there was support.
I'll support.
Motion made by Koivunen, support by Hogue. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion carried. We don't have any appointments or presentations. Item F, do you have any visitor presentations at this time? If someone would like to address the city council, we allow some time at this point. Up to the microphone and introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Skeeter Tomzak, native of Eveleth here. I'm also running for House 6B. I'm here to introduce myself to the City Council in the City of Eveleth. As most of you know, I'm running for 6B, and one of the projects I'd like to do if I'm elected is with IRRB is to build a treatment facility, and I think this town's a great place for doing it. So if I won, I'd like to work with you guys to build it, and there's a few spots that I think would work great for it. And so I think we could work together to help improve this area, do what the IRRB is designed to do. And also, obviously come November, I'm hoping for everyone's support. But it was nice to meet you guys, and hopefully in the future we can have more discussions about that. And we can move forward and help this area out with the problems that we have with drugs up here. And thank you.
And you're an avid mining supporter?
Yes.
Because
Yes.
a lot of them claim to be, and we know they're not. But we haven't had a rep from Eveleth for many, many years.
Quite a long time. Yes, I'm a born and bred ranger, and these mines do everything up here for us, so I'd never turn my back on what supported me growing up and everyone else up here as well.
Oh, thank you. Anybody else have any questions or anything?
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for coming tonight. So
Thank you guys.
everybody
And have a
knows,
great day.
everybody knows we have an Eveleth guy in the race. Item G, consent agenda. Approval of payroll, May 16th through the 31st. Approval of payroll, June 1st through the 15th. Approval of payroll, June 6th, 15th through the 30th. Approval of claims for June. Number 5, Minnesota lawful gambling premise permit application for the Eveleth Elks Lodge, Aggie's Red Garter Lounge. Another charitable gambling application for the Eveleth Paid On Call Firefighter Relief Association at the Eveleth Elks Lodge. And request for Dan Nitz, wastewater treatment operator, to attend wastewater treatment annual conference in Grand Rapids, Minnesota. Anybody have any questions on the consent agenda? If not, we'll call for a motion that we approve it. So, motion made by Koivunen, do we have a support?
Support.
Support by Lillis, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. At this point, we will suspend the regular city council meeting and reconvene it after a public hearing we have scheduled for 2018 alley improvement project, Superior Street, 100 blocks south, Vale Avenue. And if anyone has any questions, we have city engineer and public works director that could address any concerns you have.
Hi, I'm Becky Peterson, and this directly affects us, my husband and I. We had no issue whatsoever with the alley. We do have a double lot, so we knew that it would be more than most people would be paying. But when it came to the street, alley, whatever it is on the side of our house, we found out that we would be assessed for that too. And we don't understand that. We've looked into it. Dale's gone to the county, and they've given him a map. When we bought the house, we were told that we did not own the land right up to that road. And they didn't have a name for the road. It was nothing. It's there. So when Dale went to the county, on the map, which I think he left with the city, you can see that our land does not go directly up to the road. When they told us that when we moved in, they said, oh, but the people who have lived here have taken care of that area for us, you know, mowed and everything, and that was no problem. But not owning the land right up to the road, I don't understand why we would pay for that. Also, I find it very interesting that because we have thought that all of a sudden it's been changed and that the 100 block of Superior Street has been added to what you had originally written. So we are concerned. We feel we shouldn't have to pay for that. And we'd like to understand why that has happened. So if anyone can help us.
Mayor?
Yeah, go ahead.
When we first went out for assessments and we were looking at the alleys, there's, as you know, coming north and south in their alley, which they said they don't have a problem with. There's a 200-foot stretch going east to west here that we assumed was part of alley. Well, Mr. Peterson came in and showed us that that is considered part of Superior Street. Okay? So that's why we went out for bids. We bid it as an alley. Now we had to change the way we assess on it, because if it is considered a street, it's 60% city, 40% homeowner. So we redid, I recalculated everything, and that's why we're having this public hearing. Because there's a stretch, like I said, between Superior Street, between the stop sign here, if anybody can see this, I'm not sure, but between the Superior Street stop sign and where it goes into the entrance of the ballpark, that's the only stretch that wouldn't be done. It's done all the way up to there, the ballpark, and Superior Street and Fail Avenue have been done. So it didn't make sense to leave a 200-foot section in shambles when we're doing everything around.
But the question is, do they own that property? Does that property belong to somebody else?
As far as I know, it doesn't belong to anyone. The property up to the
Do you have the big, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Do you have the big map that Dale brought from the county? Because you can see the line going right through.
I might have it downstairs, but.
And it's not, and we don't, our property does not touch that road.
Those lines that are on these Explorer maps aren't always accurate either. Whether they don't own a right-of-way, a part of a right-of-way there, I'm not sure. But as far as I know, the property that surrounds their house is all their property. And that's all I needed.
So, on any city street or even a county road, no one owns right up to the edge of the road. There's always an established right-of-way, or a strip of land that there's public jurisdiction for the road right-of-way. And so there is, your property abuts the street right-of-way. There's a common
Okay.
line. And so that's where the assessment comes from. It's not that whether or not you own right to the edge of the road, but your property and the road right-of-way are a common line. And so that's where the assessment frontage comes from. On any street in town, you know, the right-of-way is 33 feet from or more from the center line of the street.
So that's true of the alley too?
The alley is much smaller. Has a smaller right-of-way, it's not a full 66.
Okay.
Hence that it's designated as an alley. But some alleys that are small is only 16 feet wide,
Okay.
you know, the right-of-way. And so you're correct in the statement that you don't own up to the edge of the road, but it's because there's a right-of-way, a wider strip of land, you know, for the road itself, for the right-of-way. In other words, if they wanted to put a city sidewalk in there or run a gas line or a power line, there's still there's still adequate room from the paved surface to the actual right-of-way for your property.
But how does that make us liable for it then? I don't understand.
Well, I guess I can't speak to the assessment policies, except that if your property is the fronting property of the right-of-way, then that's where the connection for the assessment comes from.
So living on a corner means we have the alley, we have the road that didn't even have a name or nobody here knew what the name was. And then we also have Vale Avenue.
Correct.
Okay. I have no problem with the alley and Vale Road. But it's wrong to do that with the road that didn't have a name that the county finally said was Superior Street. And just to kind of clarify things, the alley is in terrible shape. It's bad. That road is not. It's bad where the alley meets it behind our house. Just, you know, and as you take the corner back to the ball field. But the rest of it, it's not like the alley. So I'm not even sure why it has to be done.
It is substandard, let's say, in cross-sectional width and in
Okay.
you know, the actual thickness of the bituminous. I don't know how long for sure how long that road's been there, but I know it
Since
dates
we
back to
lived there.
almost when virtually I was in school here in Eveleth. So it's constructed inadequately. It's not going to hold up because we are making that connection with the new alley and where they connect is for, and going east out to Vale Avenue, it's substandard in width. It's just not. It needs to be improved in order.
So is it going to be wider towards our house?
It'll be a little wider both directions. I mean, it's gonna be a little wider, and the road surface is going to be thicker so that it's more durable.
Okay, I just would like you to think about that.
Well, my question is that who owns that piece of property? Because we ran into that on Michigan Street, where the one house faced Van Buren, and they had Michigan Street, and we had to sell him that strip of land a while back, remember? He thought it was his all in years, and it belonged to us. and I know there's a vacant lot next to your house, Brian. I looked at it. There's two transactions there, one from the owner and one from the city. I'm just curious if this is another one of those cases. Because we had to sell him a piece of property there. That was a city property from the curb part where we right into his yard. That was ours. No right of way, it was just ours.
I believe it's platted that way. You know, where their lot line ends, you know, those are platted lots coming down there. And so, that establishes the right of plat itself.
How big is what they pay taxes on? What does that involve, square footage wise?
I don't know.
I guess that's my question.
You know, in these circumstances, I get that it's difficult, but you know, they have frontage on two sides, and you're moving on two sides, so the assessment policy for, you know, consideration.
I guess that's where my question would come in, Jerry. Have you had an opportunity to speak with these folks to explain the assessment policy and what we're looking at now with the new, or after the new hearing here?
Yeah, me and Mr. Peterson have talked quite a few times about it, and I've explained that, you know, when they're living on a corner like that, we give the corner lot adjustment. So they pay, you take the half of the longest length, and then the shortest length, whatever's less, that's what you charge. So they have a lot size that's 135 by 150, and they're getting charged no more than 75 feet of that. And the city picks up the rest. And that's our corner lot adjustment. And that's why, because they can get hit 2 or 3 times.
Right.
So.
And
that's why
do you understand that, ma'am?
I understand what he's saying. I don't agree with him. And I guess I should have come and talked to you with my husband. I think you were in our yard at one point.
Yeah.
But I guess, I just think that you should give it some more consideration. That's what I'm asking, so, thank you.
Thank you. I know a lot of people maintain property that isn't theirs just to keep the beauty and stuff and everything looks nice, but that ownership thing, that's, I say we had to sell that piece of property.
Actually, we had sold it to them before and they never filed the deed, so we had to redo the transaction, I think. In that one you're talking about, yep.
Yeah, and then, because I looked at the one on the other side at one
Yep.
point and it was the same situation. I'd have to buy that property. It wasn't a right-of-way thing, it was just,
Yep.
didn't own the property.
So I think Jerry and Rod can speak to the fact that every time we do a project that's, whether it's assessed or not assessed, it's normal, Rod, is it not, that the right-of-way is this big and the bituminous is this big, so there is either sidewalk or a grass strip, right, that butts up to the neighboring parcel of your property. So by default, that's maybe not the right word, property owners are using part of the right-of-way, mowing it, keeping it look nice, which we appreciate, right?
Correct, all
Okay.
city lots in that way, I mean, everybody
Yep.
moves out to their sidewalk.
Right.
Their median.
Yep.
You can walk on the curb, but that's all still.
Right away, right.
And you're comfortable that that is the case in this instance, that there's not a potential that this property is owned by someone else? This is strictly right of way?
Yes.
Okay.
Dale, yes.
Do you have any final estimates or close to a final estimates on all the stuff that's going through?
Yeah, for how much you pay?
Right?
For how much you pay?
Yes.
Yeah, I do.
And what the whole package is, because, I still have a problem with trust funds.
Okay.
My wife talked about it, and I went along with first letter, now he's looking at a second letter saying, special, you're gonna do Superior Street.
Right, yep.
But yet I get the land for it, right?
When you live on a corner, yes. Yeah, by living on a corner, you do get hit a little harder, but that's why we do the corner lot adjustment.
Who else is paying for it? I mean, I'd like to
Who's-
know some answers, I mean, so.
Well, RGGS is on the other side, and they're paying for more of that. They have more land.
Sorry.
They're a company that owns a bunch of land for the mining companies. And let them
Not
lease.
as much.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, really stuff, which I guess I maybe, but I'm gonna have to pay for it, I don't do that for it, or what it be.
Yep, yep. So,
That's, oh, I don't care, you know, at this point, anyway. I want, I'd like, I want to do something.
yeah, anyway,
Well, anything, if you have the information, Daniel, tomorrow, or something else.
yeah, I have it in
I'll
front of
be
me.
free to call me, like,
I should have it somewhere.
info,
Okay.
like that. Thank you.
Anybody else have any questions on the project? But like I say, I'm curious about this ownership, because like I say, I've seen some of that stuff happen. Old records in Old Town. If no one else has any input on the public hearing, I will close the public hearing and reconvene the city council meeting. We have no unfinished business. And first item J under new business, making application to IRRB residential redevelopment program. No one has any questions, call for a motion that we approve this resolution. So moved. Motion made by Coivinon, do I have support?
I'll support.
Support by Hoag, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye opposed, motion carried. Item 2, quotes for 2018 residential demolition program.
Mayor and council, if
Yes.
you take the low bidder, if you were to accept that quote, could you do it please contingent on us getting an IRRB grant and then the consent of the property owners? So I need the quote accepted before I can apply for the grant.
With those two conditions?
Yes, please.
Okay. Anybody have any problem with adding those conditions? See, we
I'll
got-
make a motion with those conditions, Mayor.
Okay. And that we accept the quotes under those conditions. You make the motion, do I have a support?
I'll support.
Support by Hoag, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carried. Item J3, resolution appointing elected judges for federal, state, county, and city primary and general elections to be held August 14th and November 6th. You find enough recruits, Steph? Call for a motion that we accept the resolution appointing election judges. So moved. So made by Coivinon, do I have a support?
Support.
Support by Lillis, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye opposed, motion carried. Item number 4, home occupation permit application of Timothy Schuster of Schuster Financial LLC, 604 Jackson Street. Is Mr. Schuster here? Would you mind coming up to the podium and kind of give us a little, what you're thinking of here? It's a lot easier than just reading this.
Been in the business 35 years, spent 20 years in the cities. Is that what you want a little story? Is that what you're?
Yeah, what you're planning to do out of there? 'Cause-
Yeah, well, I run a collection agency. There will be no traffic. It's all mail and phone call. But like I said, I've been doing this for 35 years. Met a gentleman up here over the phone 4 or 5 years ago. He said, come on up and run my business. That was in Virginia. 2 years later, I bought it. I live here, skate down at the Hippodrome often over in Gilbert with Kevin. I figure that I want to live where I'm playing and all the people that help me out. As far as the collection agency goes, I mean, no one would even know it was there if you didn't know.
Okay, once we approve a application for a business in a residential area, it can take on different lives, I don't know.
Tony's here, he could probably comment on that, Mayor, if you want him to. If you could give them a short answer, Tony, to the whole, once you give them a permit, we want to
Yeah.
make sure that it's focused on this and it doesn't take on a life of its own and can morph into other things.
Tony Jeffries, Contract Zoning Administrator. Thank you, Mr. Junick, Mayor and Council. The Eveleth zoning ordinance has contained provisions to allow limited business purposes out of residential properties for a long time. When we redid the zoning ordinance in its entirety 2 years ago come November, we redid part of this home occupation provision to reflect changes in technology of folks and how they're doing business. The old ordinance was created before technology and communications and use of the internet has flourished as much as it has now. So the intent is to allow those limited passive uses, people to either establish or supplement their income out of their properties, as long as it does not change the residential character of the neighborhood. We have a multi-provision test in the ordinance to determine that. In this particular case, I think this is exactly the type of reason that we have these provisions in the ordinance. Mr. Schuster, from the information I've been given, will be conducting telephone and mail work, which will be established business activity, and will have no change to the residential character of the structure. He's not proposing any signage. He's not proposing any foot traffic or vehicular traffic. In fact, in his application, he mentions that traffic may actually go down because he's in and out of his house more now than he will be once he establishes working out of the house. So once we issue this, the home occupation permit, as it is now written into our ordinance, is reviewable on an annual basis. And it was written that way so that you could determine if there were any changes that occurred after said business home occupation was established. In this case, I don't see any change whatsoever from that house as it sits right now.
Any of the residents have any input, or?
Public hearing was conducted on June 25th regarding this application. It was noticed in the Hometown Focus 10 days prior to that. There were no other attendees to that public hearing other than the applicant, Mr. Schuster.
And you have yearly review of,
Yes, we have that opportunity written in to the ordinance language.
okay.
Thank you.
Anybody else have any questions of Tony or Mr. Schuster?
Just a comment, Tony, with regard to your due diligence. Once again, it appears that you've gone above and beyond what may be expected of you to provide us with information with which to make a decision, and we appreciate that very much. One question, just for the public record, or, this is knowledge that I have, but did the Planning Commission vote on this particular issue and approve the permit application?
They did. As a matter of reference, again, the Planning Commission is advisory only, and in this instance, after the public hearing on June 25th, the commission convened, and on a 3-0 vote, which suffices a quorum, they recommend to the council to issue said home occupation permit.
Thank you.
And thank you, Councilor. I'm always available at any time should you need any additional information.
One more thing.
Yes, sir.
I will be moving it downtown to a business office once I get up and running better.
Okay. Yeah, we had an issue last year with business and neighborhood. That's why
Nobody would even know I'm there.
that's why we took the extra scrutiny, and there was a lot of people what was going to go on in that neighborhood. They were pretty upset, and we just want to make sure that everybody can coexist and get on with their life. Does anybody else have any questions?
No, I'll make a motion to set.
You make a motion, Brian, to approve this application,
Yeah.
permit application? Do I have a support?
Yeah, I'll support it on the grounds of Tony and the Planning and Zoning Commission, and good luck.
Motion made by Hoag, supported by Koivunen. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carried. Good luck.
Thank you.
I'm honored. Thank you, gentlemen. Look forward to getting to know you all better.
J5, we cancel, I don't have J6.
I don't have it. So we need to ask Jerry. Hey, Jerry, sorry to put you on the spot, but when we did the packet, we didn't have the pay app for the, so we need to take that off because it never showed up? I don't have it.
Yeah, I don't have it either.
Okay,
Oh,
we can
okay,
remove
so-
that, please, we'll put it on.
We'll just delete item 6.
Yep.
J6. Item 7, quotes for library roof repair. Want to explain them? There's, looks like quite a contrast there, eh?
Yeah, so Range Cornice and Roofing has done a lot of work for the city and our public buildings, and this is a repair. Architectural Resources took a look at it and put some specs together, and they're comfortable with the low bid from Range Cornice for $14,464.
You know, and we just had some Range Cornice do some work for us on the Rock Building, and they came about, this cheaper than everybody else, and they do good work, and we actually had a little leak, and there was nothing for them to come back and fix it, and they're from Hibbing. We always want to go local, and we have nobody in Eveleth, so
They've been
I
good.
think they do good work.
They do good work for us, yep.
They've been in business for as long as I can remember. I mean, they do any kind of a building.
And we have a lot of old buildings in town, so it's kind of nice to have somebody that's local and close, because we all know we'll be using them again somewhere along the line, if they do good work, and
They did the
that
audit-
goes
they-
around to
They
everybody.
did the auditorium and the fire hall also for us
Yep.
during that renovation project.
And that's
And
what I thought.
I've had to call them on the MnDOT Hewitt building to do some repairs, and they come immediately, and they're not excessive, so I really appreciate.
And they
They're
stand
done-
behind their work.
They've
They
been in
don't
business.
screw around.
Yep.
Many, many years, I'll tell you that. If no one else has any questions, I'll call for a motion that we accept the quote from Range Cornice and Roofing for $14,464 for library roof repair.
Also move.
Motion made by Koivunen, do I have support?
I'll support.
Support by Hoag, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Item number 8, professional services proposal from Architectural Resources Incorporated for Eveleth Public Library air conditioning ventilation.
Mayor and council, as you know, the library gets very warm up there and only has some window air conditioners. And we're looking closely at all of our buildings here about air quality and air conditioning. So they're gonna do an in-depth study of what will work the best, because that building has the same issues we have here, where there's not chases to put ventilation. So I'd like Architectural Resources to take a look at the library, bring us a proposal. They're also going to be studying air quality at the fire hall. They're studying air quality here, so that later on this fall, we can have a whole package of information for us to look at and kind of map out a plan over a period of years where we can continue to take care of our buildings, both from interior, exterior, air quality, air conditioning, et cetera.
I don't even remember the last time something like this was even done, if it was.
And I would have never even thought how much traffic we have in that library until we moved
yeah.
across the street. And
There's
there's
always
so many
cars there.
kids
I know.
and adults, and it's just unbelievable. So I'm all for this, because we might as well premeditate,
one of
do
our
it
busiest
before we
buildings.
have to do it.
Yep.
Well, it looks pretty good to me, and it's something we have to get done. Call for a motion that we approve this professional services proposal from Architectural Resources.
So moved.
Motion made by Hoag, do I have support?
Support.
Support by Koivunen, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carried. Proposal from TMI Coatings Incorporated to repair City Hall facade. That I'm assuming includes the pillars out front?
Yes, you asked us to look into this, so
Yeah.
I went back to the records, and we hired TMI Coatings back in like 2006, okay? And they did some work, but as you can see, old building, things are flaking off, and you asked us to try to get some get a quote and get this repaired so we can, again, keep this building up since we're not looking to replace it anytime soon.
These aren't the same folks that did the tuck pointing on City Hall, were they?
I don't think so. That was a long time ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, my memory doesn't work so well either, but I do know that that company kind of abandoned the project probably midway through, left a whole bunch of work undone and so forth.
Boy, you know, that might have been before I came to Eveleth. I'm pretty sure it's not them. I haven't seen them in the accounting system
Okay.
for anything else, but they were very responsible last time they were here, and they do some other work up in the area, so.
Well, Jerry, what do you feel about this?
I feel it's fair. I believe that TMI, they do a lot of watercolor painting in the area too.
Oh, they do?
So they're a good company.
And I see them things are getting pretty rough outside there.
Yeah, they're breaking up fast. Last year it's been going up.
Anybody have any questions on this proposal? If not, we might as well dive into it and get it done. It's not gonna get any better. Accept the proposal from TMI Coatings to repair the City Hall facade for an amount of $17,900. So moved. Motion made by Koivunen. Do I have a support?
I'll support.
Support by Lillis. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Lease between the City of Eveleth and Kiewit Construction. Seems like we're doing one of these every month.
We are, because they keep saying, well, we'll be done in July, and they're like, Jackie, can we stay through August? And I'm like, yes, you can. So we just change a couple dates in that lease, and now I can't guarantee they're gonna be out in August. Maybe they wanna stay till September, and if we're able to do that while daycare is still in the works, then I would be happy to accommodate them. I still see a lot of yellow vehicles around town, working on the project, so.
Yes, we do. Does anybody have any questions about the lease extension? If not, I'll call for a motion.
So moved.
Wow, you're really on top of that. Motion made by Hoag. Do you have a support? Support. Support by Koivunen. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Resolution accepting donation for security cameras. Eveleth Area Community Foundation and the Eveleth Merchants Association. Nice to see everybody jumping in, getting involved to make the community safer. Call for a motion that we accept the resolution accepting the donations for a security camera system.
So moved.
Motion made by Lillis. Do I have support?
I'll support.
Support by Hoag. Any further discussion?
One question, Mayor of the
Yes,
Chief.
sir.
Do you have any idea when this might take place, the installation?
Mayor and Council, it was my hopes that it was going to be done before the 3rd and 4th of July. However, our trusty electrician was on vacation and we didn't really want to hurry it up. So I said, wait till he gets back. So I have several boxes cluttering up my office right now. But DSC, they're ready to go to install it. So I'm hoping within the next week or two we should have it going.
Thank you.
Any other discussion or questions? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Item number 12, resignation letter from Nikki Sopp as the ambulance director. Anybody have any questions? If not, I'll call for a motion that we accept the resignation from Nikki. Send her a letter of thanks for serving. Also move. Motion made by Koivunen. Do I have a support?
Support.
Support by Lillis. Any further discussion?
Mayor, I'd just like to thank Nikki for her years of service, both as the director as well as on the service prior to being the director. She, her personal situation has changed recently, and I think she had too much on her plate to continue in the director's position. So if you're listening, Nikki, thank you very much. We appreciate all your years of service and all your hard work.
And good luck on your endeavors.
And I'd like to add too that Nikki's been very helpful during this transition period. We've been talking on the phone, emailing, and our new independent contractor, Tree Selvrum, started today, and they've already been in contact, so Nikki will be with us through the long haul to get us transitioned, so I appreciate that a lot.
Excellent.
Good. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Resignation letter from Garrison Hale from the Planning Commission. If no one has any questions, I know Garrison's been on the Airport Commission, I think, too, at one time.
Yeah, he had been, yeah.
I'd like to accept his resignation and send him a letter of thanks for his service on the Eveleth commissions.
So moved.
Made by Koivunen, do I have a support?
I'll support.
Support by Hoag, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Item 14, letter from Eveleth Elks Lodge regarding corn feed and classic car show. Turned out to be a pretty good event every year, people look forward to.
Yeah, and it's been getting bigger every year. This is the 12th annual.
Can we accommodate this growth, chief?
It hasn't been too many issues, so I think we've got it covered, Mayor.
If no one has any questions, I call for a motion that we approve the request from the Eveleth Elks Lodge regarding the corn feed and classic car show.
So moved.
Motion made by Koivunen, do we have a support?
Support.
Support by Lillis, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Item 15, change start time to the regular city council meeting scheduled for August 7th to 2:30 PM because of National Night Out events. Boy, that seemed to come fast.
Way too fast.
Yes.
Chief, are you having them in, where are you having them this year?
Mayor and Council, we're going to have 3 venues as our plans right now. We're still in the planning stages for particulars, but we're looking at the West Eveleth Leonidas Community Center. Again, possibly 4 to 6. We're looking at the Northside Park, utilizing our warming shack with the activities there. We're looking at 5 to 7. And then Veterans Park out in Vail Township, we're probably looking at 6 to 8. And again, that's going to be barbecuing, hamburgers, hot dogs, chips, beverages, prizes. Hopefully we're going to have all of our EMS equipment out there, and hopefully a few other surprises. But we're starting to really organize that now after the 4th of July is done. So.
Anybody else have any questions, Chief? If not, call for a motion that we change the city council meeting time to 2:30 PM on that day.
So moved.
Motion made by Hoag. We have a support.
Support.
Support by Koivunen. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Well, you know Bradley's out for knee surgery.
Can we nominate them for
Well,
something?
that's what I was just gonna ask. Is there some undesirable thing to do?
Gotta be something we can give them.
Well, there's something to be said for not showing up.
Volunteer coordinator for National Night Out, perhaps.
He should, we can prop him up and he can spin the hot dogs and buns.
Put them in the dunk tank.
So don't take it. That doesn't take much effort.
No. Aqua therapy for the knee.
Yeah, you should know, that's your line of work there. Well, that takes care of new business. Does anybody have anything, committee reports or presentation?
Nope.
Brian, you have anything to add tonight?
Nope.
Joe?
I'd just like to thank the 4th of July committee, the band, the chief, all his guys, the EMS, you know, just about everybody in Eveleth, the merchants. I mean, they did such an excellent job again. And just on a little note, it means a lot to me because when we started the street dance, our expense was $600 for the band. You know, and I'd go get $100 from each bar, so I had $900 to spend. So $600 went to the band, and the other $3 would go to the rickety rackety bandstand that we'd put up, and it always would get blown away. And now, if I'm not mistaken, when all the all the bills come in, it runs between 35 to 45,000. So, you know, it was great to hand it off to my sister and her group after I got out of it, and they do such a great job with it that my hat's off to all involved, because we couldn't do it without everybody. So thank you.
That's right, it takes everybody to make it a
Yes.
success. Brian, you have anything to add?
Well, I guess I'd like to echo your sentiments. I think we made it through another fourth without too much incident, I believe. A lot of people in town. Did we have any estimates, Chief? Thousands, I assume, again?
I'm going to put the estimate between 6 and 8.
So, yeah, that's quite an accomplishment for the parade committee, or the committee, as well as all of our city staff. So I genuinely thank all of them for all their hard work, long hours. Also like to thank Mr. Aho for the wonderful presentation of the Mariucci statue and being the lead in that committee to make that come to fruition. This is a new addition to our downtown district that is really something special. So thank you very much for all your hard work, and thank you to the committee as well that pulled this off. I was there to watch the dedication, and it was quite impressive. So thank you. That's it, Mayor.
That's it for you, Brian.
Yes, sir.
We had a lot of wet people morning of the 4th.
It cleaned off the streets.
I never seen a downpour like that. Ever since I could remember, that's been a beauty. But everything went off without a hitch then, Chief?
Mayor and Council, it went very well, and as Councilor Koivunen and Councilor Lillis has explained, I would also like to thank the 4th of July Committee for all the work that they've done. They're a very organized group. They did an excellent job having people set up where they're supposed to. My hat's off to Public Works Super Head, Jerry Rosati, and Scott and their entire staff. They're instrumental in helping us set up the barricades, getting everything ready, and the mess at the end of that street dance and at the end of the parade, how they cleaned it up was second to none. Very proud of all my staff at the police department. It was a busy week, but nothing real major occurred. Again, we've been very fortunate. So my hat's off to my entire staff. I'm very proud of them all. And I guess really thank you to all these citizens and visitors, because they're very well behaved. And when you have that many people in such a short of area, a lot can happen, but it went very well. So my hat's off again. Thank you.
I really don't have anything to add. Chief Jerry, do you have anything else to say?
Yeah, I'd like to just mention our city disc golf course is up and running now. The new addition to the city, and we still have some tweaking to do, but all our signs are up. People can get around. We have some fairways cut, tee boxes, and that starts on the bottom of the sliding hill, and it goes up and around through the woods, comes back, and ends up on the bottom of the sliding hill, the number 9 hole. So if anybody wants to get out there and try it, start beating down the ground so we don't have to mow as much. It is a pretty scenic course, and it's nice.
Do we have, you know, down where the warming shack is? We have power to that, right?
Yes.
Is there a bot machine or something there? Or is that just something?
Right now, there's nothing.
Or is that just something somebody'd break into? Because we have them golfing up there.
Yeah. I don't know if I'd recommend putting a bot machine down there.
See, I think
There's a lot of
big.
people that come in and out of there.
I think big, we're gonna have to have a clubhouse there. Breakfast, license.
Have we considered trying to get the word out there publicly, you know, through some sort of advertising medium?
Yep, I was gonna talk to Stephanie too and see if we could get it put on Channel 12, maybe put it in the paper 1 or 2 times just to get it out there. Sure. Let everybody know, because most towns are starting to build these courses, so, and there's more people getting involved in it, so it is a good sport, and this is a very scenic course.
Have you tried it?
No. I don't even have disc golf.
I'd like to try it.
But I guess you can get them at Dunham's in a, you know, just a cheaper package is around $25. You know.
Walmart's got
Walmart
same
have them
thing,
too,
yeah.
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 Yeah, I don't think a lot of people really know that's there.
No, and we just kind of finished it up. That's why we
Oh,
haven't really
okay.
got the word out. I just wanted to mention it here tonight and we'll try to get it out there. Back.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Rod, you got anything else?
Nothing else to add.
Jackie, you have anything?
No, thanks.
Joel?
No, I don't, Mayor.
Steph, anything from tonight? Anybody from the audience have something? Bill?
Bill Aho, from the Eveleth EDA. And I have a lot of thanks to offer, particularly for the Mariucci statue. That was a big project. And I thank you as a city council, and especially Jackie for helping with the ceremony, etc. And Jerry and Scott for finding the taconite rock. That was a big project, and we found a gem. We didn't have to do anything to the rock. So it worked very well. Thank you. Thank you. So be prepared for the one coming up next time, okay? And also I want to thank Doug Pelizzari. He emceed the event, did a great job. And also Joel and Sop. They're the ones that went and got the taconite rock from the gate and brought it on site and adjusted the rock. They had the equipment to do it. You know that rock, correct me Jerry if I'm wrong, but what is there was about 4 or 5 tons. Is that correct?
Correct.
Wow.
Okay. So there's lots of weight. We were worried about, I know, if we place that much weight on a concrete slab, will it take it? Fortunately, there's rebar in the concrete, so it did. It was safe enough. Also, the sculptor, Jeff Fritz from Breezy Point, I went to his shop 7 times. He and his crew, Bob and Brandon, were absolutely great. And he was particularly nervous about the face. Remember, that whole statue was in steel or metal. So stainless steel, he welded the face, grinded it out for a likeness of John Mariucci. And I was a little bit worried about the public, and the public was great. I had people staying at my place, and there Jeff drives in with his pickup. Remember, it's welded in the box, and he's going down the highway. And everybody's looking, wow, look at that. Okay. So I think he did a great job, as well as his 2 helpers, Brandon and Bob. Also, I want to thank Silver Creek Sign Works. They are the ones that crafted the sign that explains the short bio of John Mariucci. John Mariucci, he was a great player. He's also a great builder of hockey in the state of Minnesota. As a matter of fact, he is in the Hockey Hall of Fame in Toronto, listed under builder. Why? Because he is the one who was the igniter, the promoter of hockey. Right from the little ones, right on up, and even building facilities. He encouraged that over time. So he did a great thing, especially for the state of Minnesota and the city of Eveleth. You know that he believed in the Minnesota player. He would not play the University of Denver because they recruited Canadian players. Think about that. Okay. Also, the Mariucci family. My contact person was David Brown, and I had a lot of phone calls. I never met him until he arrived here. Okay, and the family contingent was about 7 people who came, and I think that was quite a large contingent. Okay, so it was a day for the Mariucci family. And John Mariucci, the legacy that he left behind, coming from where? A small community of Eveleth. And Eveleth has some great hockey players. So we're hopefully going to recognize another one, maybe the next 4th, and I hope another one after that. Remember, in Aho's mind, this is a 10-year commitment. I hope you're with me, okay? We can build that legacy and heritage for what? Our community. These are important people. They have done it right from this, right up to adulthood. Thank you for being part of that commitment and moving the city up, picking the ethos up of the community on our heritage and culture. So I want to thank each one of you, Jerry, Scott, and Jackie as well. Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
Bill.
you, Bill.
Thanks, Bill. Anyone else from the audience have anything to say? If not, we'll adjourn the meeting.